I never really watched the Jeffersons, but I watched all the other shows. Good Times and Sanford and Son is super fun. That wasn't normal there. But I don't think that was normal there.
All right.
Ready. There it goes. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the January 3rd, 2024 North St. Paul Arts and Culture Commission meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. If we could do roll calls. Sara Lang, if you wouldn't mind taking roll for us.
Sure. Tom Sonnek.
Here.
Carey Nadeau.
Here.
Amanda Black.
Here.
Lisa Ritchie.
Here.
C. Yang.
Here.
Lisa Wong.
Here.
Thank you.
And Sarah Lang, our commission secretary. Thank you. So item number 3 is to adopt the agenda. If everyone has had a chance to take a look, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as listed here.
So moved.
Moved by, was that Lisa?
That was me.
Oh, that was Carey, okay. Moved by Carey,
Seconded.
second by Amanda, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. The agenda is adopted. Now, the approval of minutes, if everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes from our last meeting. Unless there are any changes suggested, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted. Any changes, recommendations, edits?
I think as usual, they look great. I would like to move we approve.
Thank you, Carey. We got a
second
motion,
that.
second from Lisa. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Meeting open to the public. There is nobody here. Someday we'll draw a crowd. Public hearings, just all plea. It's a happy crowd.
I was just thinking that.
It's usually,
Hey, see.
back in those council days when there's a crowd, it's usually not a good thing, right? We have no public hearings, so commission business, action items, and recommendations. So the first thing is election of officers. So we have to elect our chair and vice chair for the year. So I will call for a nomination for the chair of the Arts and Culture Commission for 2024.
I'd like to nominate Tom Sonnek for chair.
C nominates Tom. Anyone else?
I'd like to nominate Carey for the
Okay.
vice chair.
Oh, for vice chair?
Oh.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, okay, we got to finish this one
Oh,
first.
sorry.
I was like, I got competition. Okay. If there are no other nominations for chair, any other nominations? Then I will then what do we do? Do we
I think
move?
we do, yeah, we move.
Now is somebody who'd like to move for Tom for chair? Entertain a motion.
I'd like to motion.
C makes the move. Anyone want to second that?
I'll second.
Carey? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll abstain.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know, I guess I was putting in a ballot, but, okay, so the motion carries, so I guess I'm the chair again.
Did you want to be the chair again?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Okay, now I will call for nominations for vice chair. So Lisa, you want to put your nomination here for Carey?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Carey Nadeau for vice chair.
Thanks, Lisa.
Anyone else want to make any nominations? If not, we'll entertain a motion for Carey as vice chair. Anyone want to make that motion?
I will make that motion.
Amanda, second?
Second.
Second by C. Okay, all those in favor of Carey becoming our vice chair again, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Carey.
Yay!
Good to have you.
Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you. And for a prize, you get a sticker.
Thank you. My favorite.
Okay, so item B. Sara, I believe, hopefully you will walk us through this. The results of the Arts and Culture Survey, results such as they were. For the first half of the year, we had 4 participants in our survey.
Yes, so this survey ran, I believe it started in July. Through the end of the year, we did have 4 people participate. I included the results below, but it seems like people just really want more. At least in these 4 results, it was just they want more from us, more paint along, more opportunities to engage with us. At least that's what I'm reading from it.
More of the same. not
More of the same. Yes, more of the same things.
Okay.
They like what we're doing, so I think that's positive. And I'd like to suggest revisiting this survey again this year, once we start going, probably in June when we start doing the art cart and really get rolling with Project Snowy and having that out and seeing what the results are this year, but
And what if we tried to do a survey at live events? What if we, like, were able to administer the survey at live
we
events?
certainly can do that.
We want to hear from you. What do you think and that kind of thing?
I think that'd be great to have at the festival.
Volunteer person who has no judgment go
Yeah.
around with the survey.
So we could be at the car show, we could be at
Oh,
any of the
sure.
events.
Not just our
What do you-
events, you mean?
Oh, no, I mean like when we're there at the
Okay,
car
okay.
show, when we
Got it.
represent. We have the art cart and, do some stuff. But then also at like the arts festival and things like that.
I think there's some really useful bits in here too. A gluten-free option for the food trucks.
And then I saw the entertainment schedule didn't allow for setup and takedown between events. Sarah, did you put that one in there?
Shockingly, no.
Yeah, we were like, oh, no. Good catch.
I'm curious what the issue was with the Salvation Army.
Yeah. They were especially,
I think what they're referencing was bingo, and that was nothing really of our fault. They were late, so
oh,
they were rushing to get set up.
Got it.
And that was a popular event. Wow.
Yeah, it really was.
the bingo?
Yeah.
Wow.
That room was full,
Yeah.
like to the max with people.
Fun.
And we ran out of prizes, and they still wanted to play, so good
Wow.
sign.
I know, we'll get to it eventually, but this year I'd like to have more of a posted schedule, because there were people coming near the end of the day too, like, hey, where's bingo? Like, oh, it's already done.
Yeah. And I was just thinking for that, between performers, it might be better for us, because it was my thinking that we would have the performances within a sort of compacted time period, but maybe we just say, maybe it's fewer performers with a longer time and more time in between,
Yeah.
So you have one start like on the hour or something rather than every 30 minutes or something. Something to think about.
Well, thanks for sharing this, Sarah. That was helpful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I see the positivity, even though we didn't have a lot of participants. It's
Yeah.
good feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard to say if that's a representative sample at 4. Okay, and anything else on the survey?
Not for me.
So we have updates from subcommittees, and then there's a sub-item here, subcommittee assignments. Was that to just
If we
discuss
wanted to
again?
change, I know since we had Stacy leave and Emily leave, if there's people that want to realign on different subcommittees or how we want that to look.
Yeah, or where we need help, like Snowy, does Project Snowy need help? But let's get to our work improvement plan. And we'll just kind of go through these things again and maybe take some notes. So Project Snowy, so C and Amanda, you now, do you need more help on this project? I mean, there may be, obviously, there's going to be, from time to time, there will be things where you need help, like what we did with going out to businesses and things, but I don't know, did you want another member on the team?
I think it's good, right?
Good as in,
Good, just the two of us. I think we finished the bulk of the work, and now it's kind of the action of everything that the plans have made.
Okay. Anything on the table right now, or anything you need help with, or?
I had a
updates?
very busy December, and so called off meetings for December. We're going to get back into it this month and then approve artists is on our next list
Good.
and see where we're going for that.
One thought I had from that, I was emailing with Sarah about this, but, the one out front here, this was one that was just purchased by the city to kind of help us, get the mold back in shape and kick off the project. And the intention for that one, correct me if I'm wrong, was always that we would just use this one. We would, the Arts Commission would pick an artist for this one, and that this one would probably just be placed on public land somewhere. But I don't recall what we did in terms of like having money put aside for the artist for this one, or if we did put money aside for it.
Well, if we did, it would have been under last year's budget.
Right.
So
Well, even before that, probably, because it was purchased.
It could have been 2 years ago. Yeah. So that's something we'll have to think about with this one too. So we want to select an artist for that one as well.
That was our plan.
But then we have to pull that money from our budget somewhere
Okay.
to pay for that artist and whatever other costs go along with that. Another thing too, I did have a phone call from Sue Springborn last month asking, she was there because from the Historical Society. Have you spoken with her or the Historical Society at all?
No, we're going to get Terry
Oh,
on
good.
us now, and then we'll go down with him.
Oh, good. Because she was just talking about, where would they put it or where could they put it?
Okay. Do you have any ideas for her?
I didn't, I mean, I was just talking to her on the phone, so I couldn't, picture exactly the space that they have there. I'm sure there's plenty of space around, but I think there was some concerns too about the weight, and I can't remember if she thought it was too heavy or too light, but I said, well, I think the total weight of these things is maybe 350 pounds. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty light considering how big it is.
Yeah, so it's not like,
But it's not too light.
it's not too light and it's not like extraordinarily heavy that you could
Right.
never budget. So I don't know. I think they were going to continue talking about that amongst the Historical Society members, but
Perfect.
Do they need a special touch?
a what?
Do they need one of us to reach out?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, or and if you're going to be working with Terry too, obviously can help connect with them as well.
There were a couple more businesses too that actually reached out to Brian, our city manager.
Great.
So if we could work with them too, Burwald and Reflex Medical.
Oh,
both
great.
reached out.
Great.
So, yeah, and then I had this week.
I know the people at Reflex Medical.
Oh, well, there you go. That's perfect. Okay. And then I think it's One Up Arcade Games on 11th Avenue in that strip mall also reached out this week. They're interested too. So,
Fabulous.
yeah, very exciting.
Did the letter go out?
It did go out, and that's what they referenced to was that letter. So,
Good.
yeah, it's
Helps.
great. And I think we only got like 4 bounce back letters, so everybody should have gotten them.
Okay. Well, good. Well, that's good, and I think, having Terry help out will be good. But Sue Springborn, I don't know do you know Sue? She's fabulous.
Yeah, she's on the Parks and Rec.
Yeah, and she's kind of like a, Mrs. North St. Paul.
she helped with the utility box, getting pictures.
Oh, great, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she's great.
One other thing to mention, the call for artists, so we still only have 2.
Yeah.
I've reached out to hundreds of people at this point. But the 2 that we've gotten back, and this is more for the subcommittee, they're great artists, but I'm wondering if we should reach back out to them after you look at them,
Yeah.
to have them know which businesses are participating, because their designs right now so far have been like a butterfly or somebody playing a guitar. I don't know if like T.A. Shifsky's would be interested in a design like that.
Sure.
So I just wanted to throw that idea out there. You guys can obviously finesse that and talk about it in your group.
Sarah, would there be a possibility of Carey or someone posting, like there are Facebook groups that are artists within Minnesota? And I wonder if it might be beneficial to do a post in their groups and, like offer this opportunity.
Absolutely. I think it would be helpful if somebody or if you have those groups that you could give me the names of them on Facebook, then I can pass those along to Carey and she can certainly post on those groups for us.
I'll reach out again to some people that I know showed interest to me and haven't applied.
Wonderful. That'd be great.
Yeah, there's got to be more artists that would be interested in it. I think it's pretty, you know,
When did we set our deadline again? February something?
Yes, it was the middle of February, so
but I
I still have
think
some time.
our Carey could send your Carey the muralist contacts, you know, so Carey had emailed 30-some muralists when we were looking for a muralist. And I'm sure a lot of those people would, you know, that same skill
Sure.
that would translate.
And did we reach out to Marcus Bean?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
He's aware that it's really, okay.
yes.
As far as with the companies, I think, and C and I can talk about it further, but we'll probably approve the artists based on their applications,
Sure.
but then always kind of give the businesses and the artists the opportunity to adjust per the business's recommendations, but then we will then again have final approval on the design.
That's what I was going to say. You know, the businesses could still work with the artist, right?
Yeah.
To work on the design, which is good.
Right.
Like the whole, did anybody follow the state flag process? I thought, wow, this is so interesting. And listening to all the comments, I'm going, well, it's the government trying to do something, and there's no good way to do it where everyone will be happy.
No.
You know, because, you know, I thought they had a very good, very inclusive process. They had a lot of ideas, a lot of people involved. There was a lot of back and forth on the thing. And, but it did remind me of like us, about the arts commission kind of things that we could face sometimes, like something like this. And I just thought it was such an interesting process. And just reading or listening to some of the comments that people made, I'm like, well, you have no idea. Like, okay, you come up with a flag design that everyone will be happy with. It's just never going to happen. And the fact that I think the design ended up fantastic. You know, it wasn't my first choice of the design, but I thought it worked out really well. It's like sidebar commentary from Commissioner Sonnek over here. All right. Anything else then on Project Snowy? So I think we're all going to be kind of getting back in gear with subcommittee meetings
Yeah.
soon. And so same thing with murals. Carey and Lisa and I have just been talking about getting back together and seeing what we can get going. And so I think what we can work on, Sara, is this, you know, what does this longer term process want to look like for engaging with businesses? But then also what can we get done in 2024? It's really interesting because the timing is so funny. I mean, you have like one shot. You know, you got to get ready in the spring for something to happen in the summer because that's all the time you have, really. Anything else on murals then? Okay, utility boxes, any update on this one? And also, do we need any, so this is C and Lisa W. Do you need some help here, C?
I believe so.
Okay.
At least one more person. And, like if we need to wait for a new commissioner, that's fine, but.
We can do that too, or otherwise, you know, I've done some work on it in the past. I'd be happy to help out
Okay,
if you want to do that.
yeah.
So,
I can share with you some
Okay.
of our thinking, and get together and
Okay.
discuss about it.
if you want to take the lead, if you want to, you know, find some time or whatever, and we
Okay,
can
I'll send you
meet. Okay, but otherwise, no update for right now, or?
I reached out to the art club activity instructor overseers. Technical term.
At the high school?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they club, yeah. And so I haven't heard back yet, but it's just because phase 2 will include the switch gearbox outside of the high school. And so getting their involvement and getting some of their input on how we could really involve students, whether that's just art students or if, we could open it up a little wider. And then thinking a little through like timeline, because I think phase 2, we wanted a lot more community engagement. And so we can talk a little bit about how to, like involve different sectors, or also, like if we wanted to ask for, like certain types of art for certain boxes or some things, that we can chat more
Okay.
on how that would work.
I just keep seeing spots where I'm like, oh, this would be a good one right here. I think there's like a gigantic green one right at like the Casey Park entrance, isn't there? Then there's a big green one right on the corner at Silver Lake, right by the tennis courts. I think that's another good one. Okay, see, I'm adding my name to the list for 2024. Okay, Art Cart, any updates here?
No, we don't have any updates. I'm just wondering when we should start promoting, looking for volunteers. We probably won't have our first event again till the first week of June.
Yeah, we had our city
We're
night
gonna
at the car
follow
show.
if we're gonna follow the music in the park schedule, then I think they have that all set already too.
Okay, yeah, so we will for sure do that. But I would like to get 1 or 2 volunteers at least
Okay.
this year. I don't know, what do you guys think is a good time to start asking for volunteers if we're gonna?
I think in the spring, I mean, if you ask too early, people
Yeah.
will forget or, So we got, it's beginning of January, we'll have February meeting, so maybe after the March meeting, we could start
Okay, that
asking.
sounds good.
So a couple months. Okay. Anything else then on Art Cart? Okay. And is that, Amanda, you still on that one with Lisa? Okay. Then we have Paint Night.
Yeah, we've got a date, January 31st.
Sarah, I'm not sure if you.
Really?
If you caught that.
Yes,
If we did the 18th, it would be pushing it for getting it promoted.
that was
Oh,
pretty
great.
smart. Yeah.
So we're gonna go with January 31st. I will for sure get the art done this weekend, and I'll get it to Carey early next week, and then we'll have a few weeks to get that promoted.
Wonderful.
I am not opposed to having kids at the event. That was one of the requests I saw in the survey. I don't know what other people think about that. There are a few people that bring wine, but not everybody does, so I don't know.
I think one of the ideas was that we had a lot of kid-centered activities, and it was nice that we had something that was adult-centered for people who just simply don't want the children around.
I think that's a fair point. yeah.
But it wouldn't be bad if we do more of these, like the survey asked, to have some that are kid-friendly.
I was thinking too, maybe if we did the September, because the art fall festival will likely be in September, if we did one that was during the fall festival, but more age inclusive.
Oh, a paint event thing at the festival, that's a good idea. I like that.
I also reached out to a couple of artists who do paint nights and started the conversation about maybe having them come in to give Lisa a break and bring in some different artists into the fold.
And then Sarah, was this the budget thing too that we had for the events?
Yeah, so I, between work day today and our meeting today, I caught up with our finance director. It was approved, the paint along in the event budget. So we do have the $2,500.
It was approved?
It was,
Oh, okay.
yes. He never actually removed it, so, yes, we have that budget.
2,500 for the event?
For the paint along. Yes.
Wait, what is it called? Paint along?
Or paint night, whatever we want to call it. Paint night.
Paint night. So, I know we had kind of talked about doing a flat fee. And did you get any feedback by any chance on how the artists that you've talked to or that you know have done this in the past, what they usually do? Do they just do, I mean, does the organization pay them a flat fee? Or?
I don't know. I didn't get to that part yet.
Okay,
But we can definitely have a call with them and find out.
find out. Yeah, I'm just curious. I do like the idea of a flat fee. You know, maybe if we put some parameters around if the supplies would be included in that amount that we choose.
And we'll have to work with Sara, the staff on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I like the idea of a flat fee too. I think it's cleaner and just easier on our part. I would like to know if in those calls that you have, what those rates have been previously. I don't want to go too far above what other ones are doing and spend all of our money quickly, so, yeah.
All right, some more to come on that.
Yeah, well, thank you for looking into that. I appreciate it. What else was I gonna say about that? Drawing a blank here. Oh, we can move on.
Okay. So paint nights, but January 31st, that's going to be our
Yep.
next one.
So we will keep everything the same. Oh, I guess that's where I was gonna go with the other artists. Would we have a minimum in order to have them host it? Which I would think we should if we're gonna give them, you know, a pretty substantial amount of money and one person shows up.
Yeah.
Would rather save the money.
I think so, yeah, we'll have to work on a cancellation clause if we don't get enough people, or, yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, that's tough too, because then the artist sets the time aside and,
Yeah.
you know, you might have to give them some kind of,
Compensation.
right, you know, maybe they would be compensated at least, you know, $100 or something. if it's
Sure.
canceled.
Sure. So we'll keep everything the same, the $10 fee, the time would be from 6:30 to 8:30. And I'm good with setting up. Are you okay
Yep.
with helping? So yeah,
Yeah.
you won't have
Great.
to do that.
What day of the week is that?
I don't know.
Is a Wednesday, I believe.
Wednesday. Okay. And then lastly, we have Autumn Arts Festival. Was that date determined yet?
No, so that was gonna be my question.
Oh,
Later in our meeting today, we're gonna talk about event recommendations.
okay.
And now with Carey taking over recommendations, my question was going to be if we want to just dissolve the subcommittee, because recommendations have to be put in like now, and then decisions will be made here in the next couple months, so it's not something that'll be continued on throughout the year. Carey will take that over.
Feels so weird.
What is that? I'm confused.
So how detailed can I get in this recommendations?
So we're moving on here to events and budget then.
You can get very detailed. I would say if you want to say a lot, if you could send me that, if you could type it up and send it to me here in the next couple weeks, and then I can get that over to Carey, that would be
So
fantastic.
So should we be doing this for all of our paint nights as well, or?
No, I think paint nights, I'll still handle that. These are more for things that Carey is going to be doing, and I think the only event that it really affects us with is the Autumn Arts Festival. So,
So what you're saying is Tom and I can get together and send in this recommendation, and that's our last involvement.
yes,
wow.
more or less.
Hey.
I mean, there still can be bits and pieces, but the overall thing will be now handed off to Carey.
Can you answer what is meant in section D?
Section D. So, yes, As far as artwork, Carrie's strong suit is not Photoshop or creating Illustrator or anything like that. So if there was going to be logos for this event or any artwork we wanted to use on posters, she was asking if anybody would be willing to do that.
I can volunteer for that.
Yes, which I know you love to do and you're great at. So, and then volunteering at the event is still highly encouraged and assume that everybody will be able to volunteer at that as well. So just a verification that you'll be able to be there, at least at a high level for now. I know it's a long ways away, so.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it feels so strange. I mean,
To not be
the
a bigger
first
part
time
of
we
it.
did it, boy, it was really just kind of a shoestring thing, but we did everything. And that's kind of, it was kind of, there's kind of a handoff in the midst last year. But yeah, so I think, I don't know, Amanda, maybe we need to get together and just like kind of talk through this whole thing and figure out what we put on the form and,
Yeah. I guess let's put in our highest ask and biggest recommendations and what we want the event to look like, and
yeah.
then Carey can tell us what it actually will look like.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, I didn't feel like it was like an overwhelming task to do it in the past, but it's great to have the help. And so I think it just feels like kind of like losing your baby, like handing it over. But I guess we'll have to kind of influence as much as we can from the front end.
Right. Let's get together in the next week or so then, Tom?
Yeah, when does this have to be done?
She, by February.
Okay.
So you've got a few weeks.
I feel like that's tricky because, like things change and, like how, knowing that you guys have done this in the past, and Tom, you in the past couple of years, like to be able to inform or advise Carey on some of this work as it goes along. I would feel like that would.
Well, I also know that she has done this professionally outside of North St. Paul, so
Oh, yeah, there's
she knows how to run an event
Right.
better
Yeah.
than Tom and I.
But
She just doesn't know this event, I guess.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
to have that institutional knowledge for how this event works. And I worry, I guess my concern or the challenge I foresee is you fill this form out, you hand it off, and then it becomes the day of the event, and there's a breakdown in communication between
Right.
what's truly happening versus what we thought was happening. So just to make sure that that communication,
Well, I will say that is still my job is as a staff liaison is to be the communicator between her and us.
oh, that's good.
So I will do everything I can to make sure there's not that breakdown.
Yeah.
And I also want to clarify too, we can make recommendations all through the year, but she was hoping to get, food trucks set as early as we can. Last year, we were scrambling for food trucks at the last minute, hoping to book performers earlier than we did. And she's got the time, and this is her job now, is events with the city. So that's why she's taking that. If there's suggestions throughout the year, I can certainly pass those on to her. It's not like you're it. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of thought of a few things tonight even, and
Yes.
like having the paint night there, and then you just think about space, because I think this, or last year, it's 2024 now, last year we had a really solid event, so now it's kind of like, well, I feel like we've figured out the foundation of this thing, let's keep making it bigger and better, just improve the quality of it.
But work off of what we did.
Work off of and just keep going from there, because then you think about like the space and, well, if we have the paint thing, well, maybe we should do that inside the Casey building, and then maybe we get a bingo tent or something like that and you can have, people can play bingo all day long if they want to or something.
Devil's advocate, Tom?
What?
The flow of ideas and how quickly we can enact them is probably the reason Carey's taking over. Because we come up with ideas like this all year long, and we're like, well, let's just add it in. And then,
Well, but I think we also have the capacity to discern, I mean, you can come up with ideas and then say, well, no, that's not going to work because of whatever. And I mean,
Yeah.
even we did it last year or the last 2 years and it worked. mean, the only thing that didn't work 2 years ago was the weather.
Right.
But even that one, 2 years ago, worked fine, and that was with, very little help from the city at that time. But I never expected it. I just thought that's what we were supposed to do. So it's not, anyway, I think there's, as long as we can kind of continue to influence, obviously, we're not going to probably throw any major curveballs. Like I said, I think we have a good foundation with what we did, and
I also don't think that Carrie's going to take it on and then not tell us anything about it until
That's what I was
September.
wondering. There's no opposition with the team working directly with her
No.
as well, is there?
Oh, for the commissioners?
Yeah.
It was kind of still asked that I would be in the middle. Yes, still the liaison between that.
Okay.
so the date, however,
Yeah.
That
is,
we do need to talk about tonight.
yeah, because I know there's
Parks
always
Commission
St. Pete's thing.
was looking at a few dates last time I met with, when I went to their meeting in November, they had talked
Yes.
about it.
And there's 3 dates that we floated around in our office, so I wanted to float that around today. I think they were in the email that Brandy sent out. I think sometime in December she sent it to you guys. There's a September 14th, September 28th, and then October 12th. However, on October 12th, Carey would not be available to be there, so
I think that
it's
one's
a little late
October.
also.
too risky.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a little late. I will say they announced today that the last car show will be the 20th of September. So that means the parade will probably be the 19th. So if that affects the decision at all too.
We can't do the 21st. Is that?
No, and I can't remember
Pete's
why. I can't remember why that was a no-go. Oh, I think it was because Carrie's got working the parade as well, so trying to
She's got
balance her
great-
schedule a little bit.
And probably the St. Pete's.
Yes.
And what's the date of the St. Pete's thing? Do we know that?
I think she told me, but it didn't affect the 14th or the 28th of September. So I can't remember exactly which date that was, but
So did you say 14th is an option?
14th is an
I
option.
like that date.
Okay.
September?
What did we were the 16th last year, right? Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the 14th.
Just an FYI, there's a good possibility I won't be able to attend again this year. We are planning
Oh,
my
great.
daughter's wedding.
Oh, where are your priorities?
We are planning her wedding, and I'm so
Wow.
excited.
Congratulations. It's so fun.
Is it on the 14th?
No,
Well, then you have no
but
excuse.
all the showers and everything that happens before, it's actually in October, so. I'm just saying there's a chance I might get.
She'd get married at the Autumn Arts Festival.
There you go. Yeah, Tom can do it.
She does want her golden retriever to be the flower girl, so.
Okay, so what do we, 14th as a potential?
Yeah.
Can we put a hold on that
Yeah.
and see how Carrie feels about it?
Yeah, I think she would be all for that. I think Parks was going to talk about it at their next meeting too. So
Okay.
make sure everybody's on board with that. And we're still okay with Casey as the location.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was assuming the same times we did last year too, correct? The 11 to
I think
6?
that worked
Yeah, I
really
think
well.
that works.
Perfect. Yeah, otherwise, if, you want to send recommendations, and that's also open-ended for anybody too. So if you have recommendations, but you're not on that subcommittee, certainly send them my way and I'll get them to Carey and I'll report back at our February meeting.
One question with the dates.
Yeah.
Just in case, because is the 15th also available at Casey?
Yes, I think we have it booked out. We saved a few dates,
Okay.
and I think that's reserved by us as well, but I'll double check.
One feedback I got from artists, and is something that I look at personally when I'm looking for events, is setting up a tent. If it's a 2-day event, is much more attractive than a 1-day event, simply because it's a lot of work to set up that tent, and to set it up and tear it down on the same day is not so much fun. But that does involve like security overnight and things on our end. But it's an option we can throw out there.
Okay. Something to think about.
Yeah.
Do you want to let me know when you have time, and we can, is this an online form then, Sarah? We go on and,
Yeah, well, it's in part of the agenda, but I can certainly send it to you separately too.
okay. Okay, so now that we're at 2024 events and budget, or that's where we've been. Is there anything else to discuss as far as the budget? Other events?
Not, just that it got approved, our total amount ended up being $26,000 that we got approved for, so.
Wow. That's the total.
I think we asked for 28.5. I'll get clarification on what got subtracted from it, but we did get 26. So I think that's a pretty good win for us.
That's huge.
Yes.
So, well, okay.
Could we get a copy of that when it's available? Yeah. That'd be great.
So the Autumn Arts Festival, though, there's $6,000 budgeted for that.
Yes,
Which is
yep.
great, because I think we did it this last year on 1,500, I think.
Yeah, it was, it was tough.
You know, it's amazing, though, that
Yes.
and the year before, I think we did it on 75 cents. So this will be great. I mean, I think that's something that we really have to consider here. It's like, okay, $6,000, what does that
Well,
mean?
and
for us?
also I'd still like to clarify that all of the artists' money that was paid last year is supposed to go into that event budget as well.
It got put back into the general fund, so it did not get transferred back.
Well,
Okay, my understanding was that because we couldn't spend the money that artists pay us in that year,
Yes,
that it would go towards next year's event.
I can
Well,
clarify
And it
again.
kind of does, I think, because because then the events fund is kind of just part of the general fund, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay,
So it sort of does. But I think it's good for us to know and for the public to know that, you know, whatever money is put aside in the events budget for the Autumn Arts Festival, that the city does recoup some of that money. You know,
Yeah.
and it just goes back to help pay for future events.
Sure.
You know, in a sense.
Yes.
It's a big, you know, it's all, budgeting stuff is so weird, right? Because it's all going to the same place, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're saying, so there was $2,500 less than what we were thinking, and so I'm wondering where that came out.
Yes,
Community engagement?
For sure.
I will clarify that.
Same amount of money that we have for the paint night, so maybe they divided the events into a couple different.
Yeah, but that's a different budget, though.
Different line item on there?
Yeah, because our budget request was 28.5, and that's just, does not include Autumn Arts Festival or Paint Night,
28.5,
not including those two things. So then it was another 8,500 for Autumn Arts and Paint Night,
and we ended up with 26 total.
not
20
including
Yep.
Autumn Arts and Paint Night, right?
Not including?
Not including, right?
Because they're events.
Okay, so then we're actually, as a commission, we're getting what?
$26,000.
I thought you just said not including.
We're getting
not-
$26,000, not including the events stuff.
Okay.
So if you include the events, then it's 34.5? 34,500?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's huge.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big win for us.
Yes.
A lot of opportunity for us.
we're going to do great things with it.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a lot for us to think about, though, too, with the quadrupled budget for the
Maybe we can afford security.
Autumn Arts. Yeah, right. So that's something we'll have to think about when we talk.
And I suppose we couldn't hire, instead of having volunteers for the art cart, could we, no, because then they'd have to be a city employee, and there's a whole lot that goes to that. We could hire,
For the art cart for the festival?
no, just for the art cart, because we didn't have any volunteers.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So if we could get people to help out with that, is my ask, and if we had to pay someone, but they would have to be a contractor, not an employee.
Right.
Okay.
Something to think about.
That it?
That's it.
Anything else on budget? Okay, so old business. Do we have any old business to discuss?
Nope.
Reports from staff.
Yeah, I do not have much today, other than I am excited to get started this year on our projects. We have a lot going on, and it's all fantastic. The other thing I'd like to do is invite everybody to at least watch and potentially attend Tom's city council presentation here on the 16th. So I think that's going to be great, talking about our fantastic year we had last year and what we're planning on doing next year. So it's going to be fantastic. Otherwise, that's all I
I'm
have.
working up a couple of numbers for my presentation.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
January 16th?
I hope you all like Les Miserables.
I was hoping for Jean Valjean.
Do you want us there for support, Tom?
If you want to be.
Let's do it.
Sure.
I saw that the planning commission did their presentation, was it last night?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very fun, hopefully.
Yeah, but we have a PowerPoint,
Patrick.
so it's going to be even better.
We have visuals,
Yes.
because we are the arts and culture.
Yes.
We're gonna be dancing.
I dream of days gone by. Da, 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 da. Mhm. I always wanted to play Cosette. All right. That it? Sarah, thank you. Reports from commissioners. Lisa?
I don't have anything.
Gary? See? Amanda?
I have nothing.
And I don't have anything either. Okay, so reports from council liaison.
Councilmember Cole? Sorry, I just watched last night's.
Oh,
So last evening,
you two
Well-
look so much alike.
oftentimes, Terry did this too. I don't know why, but Tim and I used to sit next to each other up here, and he would always call me Councilmember Cole, and then him Councilmember Wong, and he did it several times. We keep tallies up here. And that happened to Mayor Mongi last night. So we definitely got it. And now Tim sits over there. That's probably his fourth time. So yeah.
It's funny because he looks your way, looks right at you.
Looks directly at me.
Anyway,
So that's my update. No, I'm just joking.
Nice to know
Let's
things
see.
are quiet. That's all you got.
Yeah. As you probably saw, that we approved the CIP and the levy at 8.5%. I think way better than White Bear Lake at like 22 or something. Yeah. So that was good. And then let's see. We haven't had much. Oh, we also approved the fee schedule too. So there's some changes in there. There was a line for the paint parties at $10, but we left. I thought it would be best to leave it open and flexible because of maybe the other artists coming in. So that's one thing to note in the fee schedule. Thank you, C, for seeing that. And then let's see. Last evening, we also had a meeting, and we discussed just property. There's a parcel of land that the city just realized that it was ours. It was like when the city was first founded. It was like 1887. Like it's very old, and so
Currently part of Maplewood or something, or?
it's in between two businesses.
Oh.
I think Burwald and TH Forest, and so we just had a discussion about that piece of land, and so the city, voted to sell it for $1.
To who?
oh,
The Burwalds and the Forest Products,
Well,
Is it a large parcel?
0.8 acres.
Okay. Couldn't really build anything on there then.
Oh no, it's literally kind of like it's a kind of a funky, it's surrounded. You can't get an easement for it. Like it's just kind of complicated too. So yeah, but that's what we talked about last night, and then also we discussed our roles for the year. I'll stay on arts and culture with you all for my last year here, and then.
Don't say last year.
And
Because you're running for mayor next year, that's
oh
why.
my goodness. And then we also discussed the commissions, and there are several vacancies on the EDA. So if you know anybody, there's probably like 3 or 4 spots there. Planning's full. We have 1, and then the student role.
You have
Don't
two.
we have,
Two?
we have 2 in the
Oh,
student.
2. Oh,
Is
man.
Emily too?
Right. Okay.
How come there's so many city council folks on the, is it housing? Yeah.
Everybody's automatically on it.
That's how the bylaws were written.
Got it.
What,
Yeah, so we had a little bit of discussion last night in considering a planning commission to sit on there, or maybe even EDA, so that there's a little bit more cohesion and everyone's able to work together a little bit more, I think. But that's still up for conversation, and so we're just.
so this is the final year of your current term?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so is it you and Tim Cole then
Yep.
that are up?
Yeah. So
When's the filing deadline?
I don't know.
Sarah, when's the filing deadline?
It's gotta be something like July 1st or something, or if not earlier.
I'll take care of the paperwork for you if you need help.
I'll pay the $1.
It's 15 now. It went up 10. But yeah, so that's and then I did have questions about the Police Civil Service Commission, just because that's not something we see like a presentation from them, or I don't see applications or openings, and so I just
Didn't know
was
there was a
not.
police commission, or like civil, what is this?
So
Police-
is it a formal commission or is it a committee?
It's a commission. My understanding is, yeah, their role is in state statute too. So I don't know. There's
Have meeting minutes and
It-
everything has to be published?
you would think. I don't know, and they were gonna follow up, and so
It's a cabal. It's a secret group of men. No, I don't know. It's a weird thing. And as I happened to watch a little bit of the council meeting when it comes to the police stuff, and heard our resident John Schmall bringing this up about the data in the LexisNexis, and that's and I just thought, well, good luck. I mean, it's a shame that we have such weak data about crime statistics and what goes on, whether it's in our city, any city, really, it's everywhere. It's not unique to us. It's just really, really hard to know what's going on, and I wish that could be better. I wish our police chief could come in and show us data on whether crime is going down or it is going up, and which ones are going up or which ones are going down. But there's just, I tried my damnedest to try and build some of that data myself, but it's just, you can't access. There's no reliable source of that information. It's frustrating.
thanks for that feedback.
Well, what percentage of our budget is the police force?
90%?
Well, public safety with fire is about 60%. I can look to see exact, but it's certainly the largest portion.
Right. So I just, as a city, in any city, state, country, they need to have, they need to make decisions based on data when it comes to these things, especially since we give so much money to it. And that's at the city, state, and federal level, you know. So you look at what percentage of the federal budget goes to the military. And what data do we have on that?
Transparency would help. wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's
I will relay that to the city manager.
great.
I don't think I have any other updates. Oh, the community center, duh.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I read that whole thing today, and I was kind of like, so what's happening?
Yeah.
so, the community center, we took a tour of the community center, kind of
Yeah.
looked at its condition. Unfortunately, since its kind of inception, there hasn't been, or like since it's been built, it hasn't really had any, at least records of maintenance, you know, what the budget's been, what the expenditures. And so we're trying to see, you know, what we can, is it fixable? Is it, you know, what can we do? Because it is a funky layout. There's quite a lot of damage from water coming in through the roof and some windows. So just some things that we would need to navigate and consider.
This is really striking to me, too, because I think it said it costs about $2.5 million to build, and now they're projecting it could be twice that much to fix it. And it's only 30 years old. I guess I just don't understand what goes on with these major projects. It's like when you think about these sports venues, you know? It's like how many billions of dollars? And then, you know, look at the Viking Stadium, like every year they're spending how many millions of dollars to fix it? This thing was just built.
Yeah.
And then in 10 years, they're gonna say, we gotta tear it down and build a new one. I mean, like, the life expectancy of these buildings should be much longer. My house is over 100 years old.
Yeah, I don't think quality was much of in the 90s as much as, you know.
It's just, yeah, it's a real shame, though, for,
But I remember even when they first opened, they had some community sports there, and my daughter was in gymnastics, and there was some activity in an open gym area, but which consisted of a track and a weight room. So from what I remember, the people, anytime I went there, there were maybe 5 people in the whole.
yeah, sadly, I mean, I loved it for that, you know, because I used to go there to work out and run around on the track or shoot hoops or something like that, and
But
one
if they're gonna
thing I
spend
liked was
all
that,
money,
yeah.
you know, let's do it on something where people are gonna use it.
right,
Yeah, so that's certainly something we're looking at and doing more community engagement. We have a firm that's working with us. They're doing the community engagement and have already reached out to the library and many others in the community, other organizations, and to kind of just see what their interest level is, also the school district too. And so we're just kind of trying to see what is most feasible and viable. It's just a lot to take in. But, you know, there's probably still some opportunity to consider using that space now still. There's some really interesting rooms there's a fireside room. It's got like a fireplace and it's a nice meeting room, so it's,
Even without any renovations, it's usable?
I mean, you might want to touch it up, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Say the heat hasn't worked in the winter.
Oh, it works now. Yeah, that is something that happens, but the heat's fine right now. And
You know, it's interesting, too, when you look at, like, the Casey Park building, I mean, that probably gets booked up how many weekends out of the year right away, right? And it seems like, you know, if if part of the space were something more like that, where it could just be for weekend events.
But the flip side of that is the damage that is done.
Mm,
You know, we can have the facility, but
That's why they raised the damage deposit for Casey?
did you raise it again in the fee schedule? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was raised, yeah.
Good, yeah, when I would see pictures of what happened and what had to be cleaned up after these parties, people didn't even care about the damage deposit because,
Wow.
oh my gosh, like truckloads of garbage being hauled out. The whole bed of more than one pickup,
Really?
Mhm.
Jeez.
multiple times, and just destruction. Sorry, I'm going on a rampage here, but no, yeah, that was before they had a damage deposit, but even after
Oh,
they
really?
did, there was still quite a
I
bit.
thought they had a damage
I'll-
deposit right at the beginning.
They did, and then they eliminated that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I'll say that there's also outside of those rentals that happens quite a bit too. And so far we've seen that there haven't been too many cases in which people have exceeded their security their deposit. So, but still it's, it's tough on our public works and it's, a little bit, kind of a bummer when you got to fix something over and over and over again. But yeah, so the community center, more to come.
Yeah.
We're still waiting on whether we received federal funds. But we received, I believe, $3.5 million from the state.
Oh, wow. So that could take care of a lot of the,
That was the intention
Yeah.
too. Yeah. So yeah, we're just kind of
yeah. Well, that's good.
deciding on that.
Can I ask what the conditions are around the grant? What would we have to fulfill?
I don't know what all the parameters are at this moment. I haven't been briefed on it.
Well, thanks for that update. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, if not, then we are at item 12, adjournment.
I motion to adjourn.
C makes a motion to adjourn. We have a second.
Second.
Amanda seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned at 7:32 PM. Thank you, everybody.
1 hour and 2 minutes.